of Ancient Wisdom has conducted. These satsangs were started by Ma Manize, and all of us were so happy to be there. We're once again happy that Ram and Ravi have revived the Spiral of Wisdom satsang. And the beauty of it is we have started on a very auspicious day, because today is Budh Purnima, which is also known as Vesak Purnima. And they say Vesak Purnima is the most powerful, full moon of the year. So it's really beautiful because on this day, there's a downpour of divine energy. Besides that, it is also Sri Rabindranath Tagore's birthday. So we've chosen a very good day to start this, to start our walk on this path of enlightenment. So we begin now. And before we begin, there are a few things we need to note, a few instructions, because some of us are new to this world of online satsang. So what I would like is once the speaker starts speaking, or before that when Ram speaks, we can mute our audio. All right, please mute it because it's so much better than we don't get all the background sounds. And you can mute your video also if you want, but it's nice to see all the faces that have joined, right? Now, during Mangala's talk, there'll be no interruptions. If you have any questions, just click on that raise hand, or on the chat, you may type out your question, all right? So please do this. And once you raise your hand, I'm sure Mangala will ask you your questions. Then you can unmute yourself and ask the question, okay? And now let's start our satsang with the school prayer and a welcome speech by Mr. Ram Menon. It's over to you, Mr. Ram Menon.
School prayer. O hidden light, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other.
Thank you. Would you like to say a few words, Ram?
I'm glad that we have restarted our school satsang, the spiral. Yes. Spiral of Wisdom satsang, which we used to hold every Thursday. So let's hope this catches on. We have got a good attendance today. 49.
Very good.
It's a good start, and we look forward to many more joining us.
Right. Thank you, Ram. And with this, we will go on to the interfaith prayers. We will begin with the Hindu prayers, and that will be by Malati. Malati, it's over to you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start with the Gayatri mantra.
Yes.
Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Shanti 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 Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय ओम शांति शांति शांति.
Thank you, Malati. We will now have the Islamic prayer by Dr. Sana. Dr. Sana? Is Dr. Sana there?
Yeah. Yes, I am there. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Namaste to everybody. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Let there be safety, grace and abundance to all of you, all the beings of this beautiful planet. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Yahdana as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now have the Christian prayer by Mr. Ravi Gerard.
Yeah. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Ravi. And now, today's Buddha Purnima, we will have a Buddhist prayer by Vani. Vani, over to you. Is Vani there? I don't think she's joined. Is she there?
Yeah, now can
Vani?
you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you
Buddhist
hear
prayer,
me?
please. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Namaste.
Namaste.
Be part of this wisdom. Once again, Thursday Sathsangs on Buddha Purnima, which is the birthday of Buddha, the day on which he attained enlightenment, the day on which he attained Mahasamadhi. So it is a very, very auspicious day. Let us chant the Buddhist prayer. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami.
Thank you, Vani.
Buddham saranam gacchami. Tatyampi sangham saranam gacchami padam samadhiyami adinadana veramani sikhapadam samadhiyami kamesu michachara veramani sikhapadam samadhiyami musavada veramani sikhapadam samadhiyami surameraya Chapamaddana veramani sikhapadam samadhiyami imam panchasilam samadhiyama idam me silam maggapalananassa pacchayo hotu appamadena sampadeta sadhu sadhu sadhu.
Thank you so much, Vani. And now our prayers are over. It's a pity we can't see Mangala still. Mangala is the speaker of the day. Professor Mangala is really a scholar in Sanskrit. And what was really nice is when I called her and asked her if she could speak at our satsang, immediately she said yes. I now request Mr. Janaki Ram to introduce Mangala.
Good evening to everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
It's very appropriate, not only Buddha Purnima, it's also holy month of Ramzan. And we have invited the speaker named Mangala Kumari. Mangalam means good fortune,
Auspicious,
spontaneous, confident, poised, auspicious, and versatile. She is a very versatile speaker because she speaks on Bhagavata, Ramayana, Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas. She has really utilized her ability in mastering Sanskrit, which is called the language of the God and language of the Spirit. We have got a very good resource person for satsangs whenever we want on any of these topics. She speaks on Sri Shakti as depicted in Lalita Sahasranamam, whereas she herself I consider as a role model of Sri Shakti. She now focuses her attention on highlighting the problems of modern women and role of women in society. She served 40 years as a Sanskrit professor and retired as head of department from RV College. One of our career highlight was participating in Harvard University study circle on Mahabharata, and she was responsible for Ramayana publication by Amar Chitrakada. I am sure her parents, Professor Nanjunda Shastri and Nagaratna, will be very proud of her attainments, and wherever they are, they'll be blessing her. We always knew Mysore is famous for sandal. Now we know one more thing. Mysore is also famous for Mangala Kumari. So it is my pleasure now to invite Mangala Kumari to speak on the topic.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Janaki Raman, for this wonderful welcome speech. Can you hear me, all of you, please?
It's very clear, Mangala. It's over to you. All of us can mute our audio now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, all of you. Yes, good evening, and it is such a delight to be amidst all of you today, of course, virtually. Yes, and as has been mentioned, today is Buddha Purnima, the day Buddha got his nirvana, isn't it? And nirvana meaning, I just want to, just one sentence about this. The very word nirvana is a Sanskrit word, and it is split as nir and vana. Okay, and vana means to burn, to destroy. Va means to burn and destroy and throw it. Nir means out and throw it out. So such an auspicious day that and it somewhat correlates with the topic that we have chosen today, that how to keep the mind clean to bring about that unity of thought in diversity. Yes, so for that we have to really burn the unwanted things stored in the mind and throw them out. Only then the diversity can be accomplished. So again, greeting all of you on this very auspicious day, and that too beginning this proceeding on such auspicious note with prayers from all, that shows that we have partially attained that unity in diversity. Yes, we have unity. So many prayers were conducted just now from all religions, and here we are to discuss about today's topic. Just when I was about to, just when I was about thinking how to start the proceedings this evening, something struck me. Two words struck me. One word is satsang, and the other word is wisdom. It is ancient wisdom. And immediately I thought, and it really flash this topic. It gels very well with these two words of this great organization. Okay, satsang and wisdom. Sata means virtuous, noble, pious, great, etc., etc. And then viveka, and also it means sangaha, also means coming together, association, assimilation, and etc., etc. And viveka is a very, very profound word, and it means true knowledge, or it means discretion, or to differentiate between good and bad, the right and the wrong, the noble and the ignoble, etc. And it also means consideration, discussion, and to be judicious. That's the vastness of this word. So we can arrive at the topic with the help of only these two. That is why I said it gels very well with the topic gels very well with these two, because sangha, satsanga is, I said, association, assimilation, coming together of all noble minds and thoughts and virtuous thoughts, etc., combined with viveka, will give the complete meaning and the dissection of this topic. Yes, and this topic, this unity in thought of diversity is the first part of the topic, and then human well-being is the second part of the topic. So we can break the topic into two parts. So unity in diversity, unity of thought in diversity, and human well-being. Now in this topic, the second part, human well-being is our goal, and to achieve this goal, to realize this goal, the means is unity of thought in diversity. So we are using the first part as the means to realize the second part. So now, when we talk about then what is human well-being, let us now find out what exactly is the meaning of the word human well-being. Man is considered to be the most evolved because of his mental and intellectual faculties, isn't it? So he adapts very well, making use of these faculties, and then all the time making use of these faculties, he strives very hard to be happy, peaceful, and secure and so many other goals. The more he gets them, like happiness, security, etc., fulfillment, etc., the more he has to strive hard. He has to strive harder because it is something that doesn't give him the fulfillment at any cost. So, all these scholars, masters, religious leaders, intellectuals, they all have come to one conclusion, and they have confirmed that human well-being doesn't happen only in one aspect. Human well-being encompasses or incorporates the physical, the mental, the intellectual, the emotional, the social, etc., and most importantly, the spiritual well-being. And it is, they have made it, they have confirmed it, and they have made it that unless and until spiritual well-being is accomplished, is realized, man can never be happy in the other aspects. We have all heard a very famous quotation. You know, most of you, I'm very sure all of us have heard this. The quotation is, assimilation, in assimilation lies the liberation of humanity. This is the quotation. In assimilation lies the liberation of humanity. Then what do we mean by liberation? Liberation is not something is kept in a cage and then it is released. No, it is not just at that level, not just the literal meaning. Liberation pertains to, again, the freedom from constraints at the physical level, mental level, intellectual level, social level, emotional level, and it also includes the constraints from the spiritual level, the spiritual aspects. So the sort of, we get an equation then. What we think of as human well-being is nothing but human well-being in all these aspects of spiritual, etc., is the same as liberation in all aspects. So liberation is equal to human well-being at all levels, and then human well-being is equal to liberation. So when we talk of that, then how can we accomplish or realize this liberation, that is human well-beingness? That also is in the domain of a man only. It is not anywhere outside. It is within the domain of man. He has to work hard for this liberation. Therefore, this liberation or human well-beingness happens at two levels. One at the individual level and the other one at the collective level. So human being must strive hard for this and then take it to the collective level. Then how do we do that? The means are given in the first part of the topic. That is by unity of thought in diversity, he will be able to realize that human well-being or that liberation, okay, in all aspects. Again, what do we need to get this unity of thought in diversity? We need satsanga and we need viveka, okay, wisdom and then satsanga, okay. So there is assimilation there, there is association there, and there is consideration in it, there is discussion in it, and there is discretion in it, etc. So we have to rely upon this human being for himself, by himself, and for the sake of the family, and for the sake of society, for community, for nation, globally. So man, now let us take it at the individual level. Man is considered to be one entity. Man is considered as one entity, a an entity in the among the sentient things. But if you look at man as an individual, at the individual level itself, man is diverse. He is or she is diverse. That physically you take, there are so many physical parts. Mentally and intellectually you take, there are so many faculties in those two. But we make a unification of all this and we consider that as one man or one individual. To give a very simple example, we can give a number of examples for this. We make a unification of that. How today's the program card says the speaker is Mrs. Mangala, isn't it? So the action is that of speaking. And this action of speaking is done by the mouth with the help of my mental and intellectual faculties and with other organs. But it says Mangala is the speaker, and all the diversities are unified, and it says one Mangala, isn't it? And at the next level, we can say India wins the World Cup, we say. Entire India is not playing the game. It is one team consisting of 11 members or 8 members, whatever. But the whole country, with all the diversity, it is unified and it is said that one country gets it. Similarly, ISRO launches the satellite. It goes to the organization, though a particular team would have done it. This is at the individual level, to give such simple examples. Now, we have to take it to the other level now, collective level. Now, at this level, it becomes a little harder because it is based on perceptions of each and every individual, which keeps changing. The perceptions keep changing, and each and every individual is one subject, and this life is nothing but a ceaseless interplay between the world and that individual. That is life, isn't it? And world is nothing but diverse objects, diverse situations, and diverse conditions, and diverse beings, both sentient and insentient. So man as an individual, he interacts continuously, ceaselessly. So he is the interactor and the world is the ground of interaction. So it is a play between the two. And life is nothing but sum total of those perceptions and experiences. Isn't it so? Therefore, when we say the world is experienced, what is world? Already I told you, objects or sentient things or insentient things or situations and conditions. These are the objects that are, perceived by the subject man, isn't it? So each now how much interaction and what type of interplay happens depends upon the type of relationship man has with the objects. That means the world. So objects, conditions, situations, the things, entities, they are not, sum total is nothing but the world. So the type of relationship man has with the world outside decides the type of perception. And this depends upon the relationship. If it is in favor, if it is favorable, then the outcome through the perception is happiness, joy, celebration, etc. If things are not in favor between the subject and the object, then we have some despair, some sorrow, some anguish, and some grief. So the attraction and repulsion are the keys for that, isn't it? Attraction gives rise to joy and repulsion gives rise to sorrow. So this is the simplest equation. So perceptions, therefore, how can we arrive at the equation? Perceptions is equal to experiences, good or bad, and then is equal to where do these happen, where do we perceive? In the mind. Therefore, perceptions is equal to human mind or human intellect. So based on this, when we do when we go deeper into this, we come across that you graph it, then these perceptions in the entire humanity, in particular with reference to diversity, is innumerable. It is innumerable. So what should we do? For human well-being, same principle of Viveka and Satsanga we have to apply. And now for this means called bringing about the unity in thought, again we have to apply the same factors Viveka and Satsanga. That is coming together or assimilation based on consideration, discussion, and with true knowledge, differentiation, and more importantly, the most important thing is the right knowledge. So before we can go to the how to get this unity in this diverse thoughts, we have to question ourselves as to why and how this diverse thoughts happen, isn't it? So the diverse thoughts are happening, as we said earlier, it is because of the mind, favorable or unfavorable, etc. So if it is favorable, it gives rise to joy. If it is not favorable, it gives rise to despair, etc. So each one's perception is diverse because each one's mind is different. Each one's perception is diverse because each one's mind is different. So this is put in a very beautiful Sanskrit text called Drik Drishya Viveka. Okay, and a very ancient Sanskrit text called Drik Drishya Viveka puts this diversity and then brings it to you. We need not go into the full text, but just the first verse, if we just understand in this beautiful text, we get to know what the reality is. So there is, it says, form is perceived and I is the perceiver. I repeat, the form of an object, a condition, or a person, or anything is perceived. And who is the perceiver? The I. Then I is perceived. This is the next level. I is perceived and the mind is the perceiver. And mind, along with its modifications, is perceived. Now this time, who is the perceiver? The self that is there within us, the conscious self, that self is the perceiver, but the self is not perceived by anyone. The self is not perceived by anyone. So this is the first verse of Drik Drishya Viveka, which brings us beautifully this, the sketching. So form is perceived, eyes are the perceiver, then I is perceived, mind is the perceiver, mind along with its past modifications is perceived, and the conscious self is the perceiver, but the self is not perceived by anyone. Here, the word form, we should not misunderstand that only form is given and only I is mentioned. So it makes it very clear, the text makes it very clear the form is perceived, it implies all sense perceptions. It implies all sense perceptions. Then it is mentioned the I is the perceiver. Then that I represents all the sense organs like nose, ear, tongue, etc. The truth, but the fundamental truth here is, until the mind gets attached to the sense organs, we will not be able to perceive anything. The mind has to get attached to the sense organs. Nothing can be perceived if the mind is not attached to the sense organs. For example, many times we say, isn't it? Oh, did you say that? I couldn't hear because my mind was somewhere else. Isn't it? So it has to get attached to the sense organs. Then, therefore, it is because of this that mind in each one is different. Because of this, the perceptions are also diverse. Because the mind, each one's mind works at a particular frequency at a particular point of time. Therefore, each one's mind is at a different frequency most of the time. Therefore, the perceptions are different. Therefore, we find diversity in perceptions. But in this first verse, what did we learn? That the conscious self is the perceiver, but no one perceives the self. That is the most important part of the verse. It reveals this truth. This is the truth, true knowledge. This is the Viveka, that each one of us, the mind is attached all the time. Whenever we are awake, our mind is attached to our self. And the most important aspect of this is, this consciousness called the self is like a thread, is the thread. And all the perceptions, the diverse perceptions, are stringed in this one thread called consciousness. So all the perceptions are stringed like a chain or like a necklace using one common thread called the self, called the conscious self. So this conscious self, therefore, is not perceived by anything, anybody. Therefore, it is the witness to all the perceptions, and it is independent of the perceptions of the mind. What about the therefore, this conscious self is the substratum. It is the substratum. It doesn't change at all. It is independent, and the mind is attached to it. Therefore, the mind, and we say the mind, if it is not attached to the sense organs, it cannot work. Therefore, it doesn't work, but constantly when we are awake, it is attached to the self. Now, the self is not changing, but the mind is changing all the time. So, the substratum, which is independent and unchanging, it holds the mind. So, our task is to bring about a unity in these diverse perceptions. So, we have to catch hold of that reality, because that is not diverse, isn't it? That is only one, and that is independent. And anything that changes and which comes and goes, switches on and switches off, can never be real, that is absolutely real. It can only be apparently real because it comes and goes. So reliability is not absolute there. It is not reliable absolutely. So how do we bring about this unity then? So the mind, always changing, is attached to the self which is not changing, and the mind it keeps on changing, but the self doesn't get affected at all. it doesn't change. Therefore, we have to realize this fundamental truth that one reality is that string which is stringing all of us. There is one reality which is stringing all of us because it doesn't change at all. And more than that, because of this unchanging substratum, everything else is enlivened. Everything else is enlivened by this one reality, whereas vice versa is not true at all. Therefore, we have to aim at recognizing this unchanging substratum called the self in each and every perception that we perceive. So we have the perceptions because of the objects, because of the other entities, because of the other conditions. Therefore, each and everything is happening only because of that self. Therefore, we have to realize that, we have to recognize that self on inquiry. Okay, we have to inquire. So how do we inquire? We inquire it with the help of true knowledge. We consider, we discuss, we are judicious, we should be judicious, we should be equipoised, and we should have endurance, etc. These are the qualities that we need to follow this up. Okay, so when a person, whenever a person is successful in completely recognizing and discovering that self which is not perceived by anyone, if it is not a perception but he recognizes and discovers that self, then what we find is that he is full of happiness, bliss, and is immersed in that bliss and is surrounded by that bliss, because once he knows and recognizes the self within him, immediately he recognizes the self in everything else around him. Therefore, it is that ananda everywhere, it is that bliss everywhere. Therefore, he is full of love and he spreads only love, and he is not perturbed by these diverse perceptions that everyone else experiences. He is not perturbed because he doesn't perceive the diversity at all. What he notices is that one unity and that one reality within him. Therefore, he doesn't see any diversity outside changing. Therefore, it cannot be absolutely real. Therefore, the only reality is the conscious self, which is enlivening everything. So that if you recognize in everything, everything will get automatically united. So in another Vedic text, so let me know how many more minutes I have, because it is showing 7:20. One of you, could you tell me, please?
Carry on, carry on. We started late.
Okay. So we have another beautiful Vedic text called Rudram. So in that Rudram, we have a beautiful presentation of how a devotee perceives the divinity, that is one reality, in everything he sees and then experiences. It is diverse and it has got 11 chapters called Anuvakas, and barring the first and the second chapters, till the 11th one, it is nothing but, the text is nothing but about the diversity that we perceive and experience, and at the same time, the diversity is not there at all. It is only unity that is there in the entire universe. To give an example, I will just give you the English part of it. So it says, salutations to very small bit of it, because 11 chapters and 9 chapters in that are full of this unity in diversity. Okay, so I can only give a bit of it. So salutations to that ruler, to the ministers, the woods, the traders, the wealthy, the creators of wealth, the soldiers, the noble, the elders, the younger generation, the plowed fields, the barren land, the cross-country roads, the marshy land, the pools of water, clouds, rivers, riverbanks, green trees, the dogs, the owner of the dogs, and the caretaker of the dogs, and also the sun, the moon, etc., and everything. So it is just a very small bit. I can say 0.0001% of what is mentioned there. So it is very diverse. So the diversity, everything, one thing is seen, that on investigation, the devotee there says, he says even the potters, no, even the blacksmiths who are working in the villages, even the pebbles and the woods with all green leaves, and then the barren trees, everything is divine, the devotee says, because the divinity exists there, and I can see only divinity in that. It says, what is importance of sun, and sun is that changing the colors for my perception, but it is that sun who is the Pratyaksha Devata, it says. And then this in any
I'm not able to hear the audio.
Something's wrong with the audio, I think.
That what everything is divine. Okay, so we have to tempo. Yes, in voice he says, Andamaya e jaga hrudaya. He says, e jaga hrudaya means, I think most of you know Kannada, the not able to
Audio is not clear.
Sajani?
The audio is not that clear.
Sajani, her bandwidth may be low. Maybe she should disconnect and connect again.
Just tell her.
Mangala? Mangala, can you hear me? She's not.
Where? Mahesh, are you there?
I'm here. In fact, when I spoke to her yesterday, I remember she was telling me that in her locality, she had this connectivity issue over the last 3-4 days. So
Will you just call her, because we can't hear?
Yes, I'm calling her on her
Call her
mobile.
to disconnect and connect again, Mahesh.
Yes, tell her to connect again.
Oh, you lost connection. Madam, reconnect. Please reconnect. Madam, I think now video also will come. Yeah, you reconnect. Yeah.
What is?
The number is busy.
Maybe she's trying on the phone then.
Spoke to her. She's reconnecting. There's some problem she had. She told just now. I spoke to her. She's
Okay.
reconnecting. Yeah.
Good.
Hello.
If anyone has any questions, you can put them on the chat so that as soon as she comes, she can address those questions.
Nothing wrong with my food.
Yes. Mahesh, what is happening?
Her number is busy. I tried calling her. I'll try again.
Can't get it.
Ravi, will you try her again?
Yes, ma'am.
My internet is stable, it is fine, but I'm not able to connect. I lost the full connection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, internet is fine.
So,
is everything all right at that end?
Yes. We can hear you.
She's on my speakerphone currently.
Okay, she's on your speaker.
Continue on the speakerphone. Can everybody?
Yes, please do. Just wind it up. That would be good. And if one or two questions, there's one question.
So I'll just two sentences.
Okay. Hello.
Sajani, it's not clear. I don't think.
Yeah, it's not clear. Hello, Mahesh?
I'm just trying her number again.
It's not clear. I think,
Okay, we'll request her to wind it up then.
yeah. We'll just thank her and we'll close.
Okay, I'm putting you on speaker now. We can answer a couple of questions. Maybe we can wind up now. I'm putting you on speaker. Yeah, 1 second.
Ma'am, you're on speaker now.
Hello?
Yes, Mangala.
No, we lost her again.
Okay, so I think we'll just wind up because there seems to be a problem with her internet there. Okay?
Yeah.
And there are 1 or 2 questions I think people have posted. We'll ask her to reply on the net. Okay?
We can post the answers on the school group.
Yes.
WhatsApp group.
Exactly. So those we will send to her and then we'll put it on the WhatsApp group. Okay. So Dr. Sana, are you there? Dr. Sana?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, you're ready because I don't think she'll come back and we don't have questions. So if you could sum it up and give the vote of thanks, that would be nice.
Okay then. Okay. Say, it's a great day indeed. After a long duration, we are reviving this beautiful congregation of Satsangis. And I take this as a cosmic gift and existential plan to beautifully coincide on Buddha Purnima Day. And here there is a lot of significance. This beautiful synchronization with Buddha Purnima has a lot of meaning. The mission started by Madam Ma Manize had the 2 aspects. One is Satsang and another is the school of ancient wisdom. Satsang and wisdom. That's what the speaker, today's speaker, Professor Mangala Kumari brought out. Satsang and wisdom. The Satsang, as I remember, the last talk by Madam Manize was on 5th of April 2012. And that was her last talk. And she has been emphasizing all through in her satsangs about life after death. In fact, she had made us so courageous. Now we don't have any fear of death. Now, before I go into summarizing Professor Mangala's speech, this introduction is very, very significant. That's why I'm talking about it. Please bear with me. So then, after her exit, when she has gone to higher plane, we had these satsangs up to 2012, 17, if I'm right.
Yes.
And after that, we had a lull for 4 years. And that is the time most of us were feeling a kind of incompleteness, that Purnatva was lacking. Wonderfully well, today, we are able to achieve that Purnatvam of combination of Satsang and wisdom, school of wisdom. And I could see her invisible presence, her gracious presence in a Purnatva form today. Well, in the campus, we used to see her, though she is physically absent, invisibly, her grace, her presence was felt. And today it's a culmination. We are able to have the Purnatva of presence of Madam Ma Manize, and the mission started by her. And indeed, it's a great day. It's a very joyous day. In fact, Thursdays used to be very, very joyous days for me personally, and maybe so with others also. Now, today's topic, when she spoke about unity of thought in diversity, what I gather is it's a high time we shift from I to we. With all the diversity, with all the diverse perception, with the varied mind setups, finally we need to seek it through our true self. That is, whatever we perceive, if we can perceive through soul consciousness, the superficial diversity disappears and we find unity. And that's what is needed in this present day world. Though we are divided into so many continents, so many countries, so many varieties of people, there is oneness. That's what Madam Manize used to emphasize. Oneness, unconditional love, understanding the invisible. Unfortunately, the globe is going towards only me, onlyness, not oneness, me, myself, and everything. So it's high time a critical mass like ours, if we can carry on with this beautiful system of Sathsang and also the school of ancient wisdom, where we are going to inject or embed this kind of a thought of seeing oneness in spite of so much of diversity. Today, there is so much of diversity. Buddha Purnima, there's a Ramzan, holy month, with so many varieties of people coming together, but still all of us were longing for that oneness feeling and the revival of our beautiful partnership in spiritual domain. It's a great spiritual congregation, I would call it. So when we have this kind of a thing, the Samatva Bhava, Ekatva Bhava, this gives true happiness, I tell you. You feel liberated, you feel freedom when you feel yourself one with other, not isolated. The world has no meaning if we live in isolation. The world could evolve, it could do wonders when we shift from I to we, and this Ekatva Bhava, Samatva Bhava, through the concept of Sats, through getting concepts beautifully out of Satsang and wisdom. And finally, you know, when we have this kind of a thing, what happens? Human welfare. Human welfare, not only in the physical realm. She has been emphasizing it should be in a comprehensive level, both physical as well as metaphysical. That covers just not only your body, mind, intellect, and ultimately soul. I've seen those people who go into this graduation into soul consciousness, they're always blissful, they're so happy, they're healthy, and they are the real contributors for this planet. And these are the critical mass of people whom we need to have many more in the years to come. So we are really indeed delighted, feeling grateful for this wonderful revival of this satsang today. And we need to keep up this, not just for ourselves, for the sake of humanity. Well, after satsang meetings, we used to have wonderful feast. Well, we can have virtual feast. Definitely we can visualize a lot of things are spread and we have a virtual feast. And after the feast, if you remember, we used to go and just have a wonderful motherly hug with Madam Manize. You visualize yourself, you were seated in a sofa, and then we go and kneel down before her. She used to hug, and then she used to give us prasadam. Prasada, that's what Krishna Padiraju was telling. What kind of prasada? The clarity. Whatever confusion we had, without even expressing those problems or issues or any kind of a matter, she used to gauge, and then she used to say, Beta, everything will be all right. Wonderful. I love you. Please be coming. And that is the kind of greatest prasada we used to get. Then we used to exit from that beautiful residence of hers from Rest House Road. And today I'm reliving that. And I'm reliving the kind of summarization I used to do after the Madam Manize talk. And now this has become a great opportunity for me to learn and much more be focused and what being spoken during these meetings. Anyway, we all of us, I try to speak for all of you. We are all feeling fortunate with this revival, and this true tradition, this good practice need to be continued forever. Let the future generation take up. So may God give us that kind of a unity, wisdom, and that oneness feeling. Ultimately, it's not the self glorification or self well-being, it is the well-being of the entire humanity. So let us have this kind of a divine approach to this wonderful feelings. May God all bless all of us. Thank you very much. Wonderful day, wonderful time we had. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sana. You see, the prasadam you speak about is still there. We could just feel the love, the healing energy from Mama Nize. You know, I'm sure if each of us were to close our eyes right now, we would get that love, that unconditional love, that beautiful light and healing energy. We will now close our satsang with Loka Samasta, and I request Ramesh to say the Loka Samasta. Ramesh?
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Hello, am I audible? Thank you, Sajani.
Oh, yes, Mangala, you've come back. Great.
Yeah, I just could get the connection back. So if with all your permission, can I just conclude that?
Sure. Please go ahead.
I hope others also will agree, because I didn't do the conclusion part. I know. Yes, can I go ahead?
Please do.
Yeah. So that is what we were telling. So the fundamental thing needed is to recognize and discover that divinity called the self, okay, which is unseen, cannot be seen by anybody, but it manifests in various forms, in innumerable forms all around us. So once we recognize that in everything we perceive. So there won't be any diversity at all. There will be only unity of that one reality. So we have to see that one reality in plurality. That is the key message. We have to see that reality in plurality. Just like supposing somebody knows what electricity is, what electrical energy is, then that person recognizes that energy in each and every electrical gadget, including the electric car. So that let it be yellow bulb or blue bulb or red bulb or a car or a fan or a micro oven, what is recognized is the electrical energy there. In the same manner, one who recognizes this one reality in himself or herself recognizes that in each and everything that he or she perceives. So this is what is the message. This is how we can bring about unity. Then the simplest way to bring about this unity is unhook your mind. That's it. Unhook your mind and make it clean and pure through what? Through satsanga and through viveka. Okay, the core things of this organization. Through satsanga and viveka, you make the mind pure and clean, you unhook it and perform all the actions living in the present. Whenever we perform an action, we have to live in the present and perform that. Okay, so this is the key to bring about this unity. So there is that, many of you have heard. So everything, that assimilation is the key for liberation of humanity. So we say, Vasanad Vasudevasya Vasitante Jagatrayam Sarvabhuta Nivasosi Vasudeva Namostude. So in each and Vasanat, in each and everything, Vasanat, it exists. That one reality exists. And Vasitante Jagatrayam, all the worlds it is existing. So Vasudeva Namostute. So one great salutations to that one reality. Be it anything, it is that conscious self which is called the conscious, which alone is the reality. Everything else is only relatively real. Only by discovering that one reality, one can bring about unity, because that is very, very crucial and at most essential for today's crisis or conditions. We have to strive at that holistic well-being of the humanity, that is nothing but liberation from despair, sorrow, grief, etc., and to live in bliss all the time. So perceptions are very, very tentative, they are not real, so recognize that reality in each and everything. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you. I profusely thank each of you.
Thank you so much, Mangala. It was a wonderful talk.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All of you. Yes, thank you.
It was really wonderful.
Thank you.
It's a pity that we had a problem, with first the visual, the audio, and the visual. However, I'm so glad that you came back. Thanks a lot. And we look forward to having you again. Thank you so much. And now now we have the Loka Samasta, and while it's being chanted, please send out love and healing energy to our planet. That's really required at the moment. Ramesh, over to you.
Thank you, Sajani, and thank you, Mangalaji. As is customary here, we also request everyone to, to remember some of our loved ones, like Hira Purnaya ji. She was not very well, so please keep her in your Loka Samasta today. So please sit straight if you can, your back, head, and neck aligned, and center yourself in your heart and connect to everybody while we chant this. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu.
Thank you, Ramesh. And now we have come to the end of the satsang. I'd like to tell everyone that we have very good speakers for the next 3 Thursdays. We have Dr. Hegde, we have Bani, we have Fatima, and this will be put up tomorrow, all the speakers. So we hope that all of you once again do join us, and we'll ensure that we don't have technical glitches like this. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.